Okay, everybody, tea coming at you from Spicy Sweet Tea. I wanted to give you an update. Today is day 7 of my pre-op diet. Tomorrow will be my last day, so that'll be day 8. And then I have surgery on Tuesday, gastric sleeve surgery. It's come so fast. So I wanted to give you a couple updates. I'll update you about my pre-op diet, some things that really worked for me, and then I'll also update you on something else. So, let's actually start with how much weight I've lost. So I started this journey before my pre-op diet. The day before my pre-op, or the day that I started my pre-op diet, I weighed in at 226.2. And when I weighed myself this morning, I was 217.4. So that is a loss of about 9 pounds in a week. That is very exciting to me, my friends. I don't think I've ever lost that much weight in my life that fast. That is just awesome. So my hope is that that continues. Yippee skippy, hip hip hooray. And I've noticed already that my body is changing even after just the 9-pound weight loss. That my skin is a little more flabbier, a little more looser. My butt isn't so high. Like, it was like really big and juicy and perky. And now it's just like lower, just like a little bit. So I don't know. I guess that's exciting. Once I'm able to, I'll be doing some weightlifting, some weight training, I guess. I don't know what it's called. Weightlifting. There's a program at the YMCA right by my house called Body Pump, which, if you haven't heard of it, Les Mills Body Pump. It's super fun. You do like a move to these high-paced songs, and it's really great. I enjoyed it when I went to it before and really had a nice time. So we'll be doing that again to already begin toning my body and my muscles so that hopefully my excess skin isn't so bad. Another tip for excess skin that I don't hear very often, actually I've not heard it one time on any of the YouTube videos that I've watched, is I have started skin brushing. And if you don't know what skin brushing is, let me show you. I'm coming. You hold your horses. Okay, so it's not called skin brushing, it's called dry brushing. And it's this. It's a little brush made out of cactus spines, and you brush your body, starting with your legs, and then you move up your body one body part at a time. So I'll like brush my lower legs, then my upper legs and my thighs, and you're always brushing towards the heart. So like an example on my arm is, I'll brush my forearm, and you want to hit every spot 3 times. So that's about 3 times. And then I'll go up to my upper arm, and you do that every morning. I do it every morning. It's kind of energizing, so they recommend you doing it in the morning rather than before bed. They also recommend you shower afterwards because you get like some dry skin, but I do not shower afterwards. I just put on clothes and go on with my day. It also makes your skin really smooth and is supposed to help minimize stretch marks, minimize cellulite, and minimize excess skin. Skin is our largest organ in our body, and if we can wake it up and enliven it and activate it, then maybe there's less of a chance that it just kind of is like sleepy and dull when we lose all this weight. So that's a little tip there. Dry brushing. Get it started. Also, obviously you know this, biotin, collagen, fluids, protein. I also use Nioxin already on my hair, and I plan to continue that. Didn't know this was going to be a video about how to prevent hair loss and excess skin, but you got a little bang for your buck there. So things I do want to talk about is how my pre-op diet is going. So I already told you that I lost 9 pounds. It's very exciting. And I want to share, I haven't cheated on my diet, but I did get very, very creative. And I did incorporate some things into my diet this week that the doctors and surgeons did not really give permission for, but I kind of took liberty because what they had said is that I needed to have a low-calorie, low-carb, low-fat diet. And I've heard some of you other ladies talk about between 600 to 800 calories per day during this week. I have not been counting calories, but I would say that's about what I'm getting. I have 2 shakes a day, which are 160 each. So that's, just over 300, 320. Then I have either Greek yogurt or cottage cheese, which is another, 150 or so, 130, 120, I think. And then I have my meat and veggies. So I'm still like really low calorie. But seasonings and add-ins have been my best friends this week. And so I want to share a little bit with you. If you are not familiar, I did share a different video before I started my pre-op diet about what I could and couldn't eat. And real quick to review, it's 2 shakes a day, and then either Greek yogurt or cottage cheese as like a snack, and then usually for dinner, I did do it one time for lunch, but usually for dinner, a 3 to 4 ounce piece of meat. It doesn't really have to be a piece of meat. It could be like ground meat, but a piece of meat with either a half cup of vegetables or 1 to 2 cups of spinach or lettuce. So I'm going to share with you some things that I did that I hope are okay. I mean, maybe they'll go in there and be like, your liver is not small and floppy enough. We can't do this surgery because you cheated. I don't think I cheated. I just got really creative. So here are my creative tools. The first thing I did, I went and I bought a rotisserie chicken. And that was great because the rotisserie chicken lasted me several days. After a few days, it kind of got old and flavorless, so I gave it to my partner and he ate the rest of it. But a rotisserie chicken was great. And then I also just went and got packages of broccoli. I really love broccoli, and I have an air fryer. And so I would measure out a cup of broccoli, a little bit more, or a half cup, but a little bit more than a half cup, because frozen, it's a lot bigger. When you actually heat it up, it kind of shrinks down. So I wanted to make sure I was able to get a half cup of hot broccoli. So I would put a half cup of broccoli in my air fryer. I'd quickly spray it with some coconut oil spray, which is 0 calories, 0 carbs, 0 fats. And then I'd sprinkle some Cajun sprinkly seasoning on it. Put that in the air fryer for maybe, 12 minutes. Comes out, it's crispy, it's yummy, it's good. And I'd have that with my rotisserie chicken. In fact, I've pretty much had that just about every day, except the exception I'm about to tell you. The other thing that I did is I made mashed cauliflower. And I made mashed cauliflower, threw some garlic in it, which again doesn't add really calories or anything. Threw some salt and pepper in it, a little bit of almond milk, and that was wonderful. And I had a half cup of that a couple days this week along with my meat. And so that was super good. You can also buy mashed cauliflower from the grocery store. But it has some other additives like whole milk or half and half or something, which adds a little bit more. I did read the packages because I knew I wanted to make mashed cauliflower, but I ended up just doing it myself, and it was yummy. It was really easy. You just steam the cauliflower. I put it in the microwave. It comes in a steamable bag. Put it in the microwave, put it in my food processor, put my seasonings in, and eat it, and then refrigerate the rest. It was great. So that is a little tip for veggies. And then some other things I did is I bought pre-seasoned chicken breasts from the deli, and they had 2 different flavors. I don't remember, but I got the lemon pepper one. It did have a little bit of sugar in it, but sugar was one of the very last ingredients, so I assumed it was pretty minuscule. And the nutrition facts on it were also in alignment. I think maybe there was 1 carb, maybe not even, 0 carbs and really low fat, 2 grams of fat or something, maybe 1 gram. I don't remember. I didn't really care that much. But that was great because then I could just bake that chicken, put it in the oven, pull it out, weigh my 3 to 4 ounces, and eat it. So that was super easy. And then yesterday I made tacos. So I bought super lean, 97% lean beef, and I beefed it. I ground it and cook it, and then I added just a little bit of taco seasoning. Taco seasoning does have some calories in it, does have some sugar in it, but again, pretty minuscule. I used maybe a half teaspoon just in my 3 ounces, and a serving of it is 2 teaspoons. So but just for a little flavor. So I fried that up, and then I put it in, I did 1 ounce each in lettuce wraps. So I had 3 little romaine lettuce wraps and put an ounce in one, an ounce in another, and an ounce in another, and then put a little hot sauce on it, and had little lettuce tacos. You know, I didn't put any cheese or sour cream or salsa or anything on it, but it was really good. And I have some leftovers tonight, so I think that I will be having that again. So that was great. Another tip that I have is I would have a straight up shake for breakfast. Just like drink it out of the container. But my second shake of the day, and usually I have that either in the afternoon or after my like dinner. Like if I had dinner at 4, for example, then at 7 or 8, I would have my second shake. And what I ended up doing was pouring the shake in my blender, adding about a cup of ice, and blending it up. And it made a huge giant shake. So it felt like I was eating so much food. And these Premier Protein shakes are pretty extremely sweet anyway. And so I liked that the ice kind of watered it down a little bit and made it less sweet. And it just felt like I was eating a ton of food. So really filled me up. And that was a great trick. Another thing that I have been doing that I don't know is like quite on plan, but I put a half cup of cottage cheese in a food processor along with a half cup of berries and then some stevia, and I blended it up, and that was one of my snacks. Fruits are not really allowed on the diet, but berries are one of the like lowest calorie, lowest carbs, lowest fat fruits. It's not really fats in fruits. Anyway, but super low carb and low calorie berries. And so I would just put berries in it, and that made the cottage cheese much more edible. And so I did that a few days this week. And then the other thing I did was my yogurt. And so I sweetened the Greek yogurt with stevia. And then some days I would add like a teaspoon of cocoa to it. And cocoa, like if you just buy unsweetened cocoa, like in the baking section, you know, like I think like 1 or 2 tablespoons is 10 calories. So 1 teaspoon is like nothing, you know, and no fat and no carbs. So some days I would add like 1 teaspoon of cocoa. Sometimes I would add a couple, like 1 to 2 tablespoons of peanut flour, which I talked about in a previous video. And then one day I also did just a teaspoon of like no sugar added jelly, just for a little bit more fruity flavor. You can also, I think you could be able to add like some lemon juice to make it kind of lemony. But it felt important for me to, number 1, not get bored, and number 2, well, not get bored and get creative. Those are kind of the same thing. But both of those helped me to succeed, if you can call this success. Like, again, I wasn't eating just like the plain cottage cheese or the plain Greek yogurt. I was doing some things to it, but it really worked out well for me. I think it went really well. And then the other thing that I did is I drank a lot. Tea became my best friend. I bought so many different types of teas, non-caffeinated teas, so mostly fruity teas, but also like Celestial Seasonings makes a caramel apple delight that I've been drinking pretty much daily. I found I'm a little backed up, like I hadn't gone number 2 in 3 days when I first started. And so I also got a Smooth Move tea, and that seemed to help. And tea has really been my best friend. Like I also have, you know, not Crystal Light, but it's called like True Lemon or True Lime, and it's sweetened with stevia rather than sucralose or aspartame. And I'll add that to, you know, a 32-ounce bottle of water, drink that, and then I pretty much drink tea for the rest of the day. And I feel really hydrated, and there's no added sugar or anything. So those are some tips about my pre-op diet. A lot of people are not on the same one. A lot of people are on the 2-week liquid diet. So none of this is applicable for you folks. But if you are on a similar diet to me and you want to get a little creative, feel free to use any of these tips. I might come back and tell you that like they go in, they cut me open and find out my liver's too giant and still too fatty. But you know, the reason for the diet is to lose weight. That people who are overweight have fatty livers. Non-alcoholic fatty liver disease, I think is what it's called. At least that's what my little booklet says. And And so the purpose is they want you to lose weight so that your liver is less fatty. Yes, so it's floppy, and so they can like lift it up and get under it to get to the stomach, but also so it's less fatty, so they're more able to do that. So, I mean, I've lost 9 pounds, so I can't imagine that my liver is still fatty, and my fat percentages, my carb percentages, and my calories have still been really, really low. Like, definitely under 800. Great. So those are my tips, y'all. You heard about dry brushing. You heard some of my stats, updates, and about my pre-op. I feel great. I have a lot of energy. I wake up every morning with a ton of energy. The one thing I have noticed is just how much time used to go into getting, purchasing, driving to, and eating food. And now that like all of those are gone or significantly minimized, I was sort of left with like, what the fuck do I do with myself? Like, I mean, before this week and the last couple weeks, I've been throwing food funerals for all my favorite foods. Like, I said goodbye to Jimmy John's. I said goodbye to Qdoba. I said goodbye to Chipotle. I said goodbye to my favorite brunch place. I said goodbye to Indian food. I said goodbye to sushi. Like, I had last meals, and I understand that I'm gonna still be able to eat these things, but I'm never gonna be able to eat like a full plate of them. You know, I'll be able to eat this much versus like this much, right? Like, you think of that as a plate of food. So that's a big difference. Little pink guy versus really big guy. So I said goodbye to large portions. But I just realized like it consumed so much of my time, like thinking like, ooh, what do I want to eat? And then calling in an order to Buffalo Wild Wings, and then waiting 15 minutes, and then driving over to Buffalo Wild Wings, paying for my food, getting my food, driving back home, and scarfing down my food. Like, that in and of itself probably would have taken an hour and a half, right? And now I'm just like, go to my fridge, get a protein shake, and drink it. That's like 5 minutes. So it kind of really freed me up time-wise, and I kind of didn't know what to do with myself. If I'm honest, what I've been doing with myself, well, one healthy thing, I've been taking my dog to the dog park every single morning, and we walk over like 1.5 miles at the dog park. We do a loop 2 times. And 1.5 miles is not that long, but I was not doing that, 2 weeks ago. So that's great. But then the other thing I'm doing is I'm watching a lot of Breaking Bad, which, like, maybe that's not like the best way to use my time, though it's a very highly entertaining show. My face is so shiny. That's all right. So I've been watching Breaking Bad. I've been watching YouTube videos of gastric sleeve folks. I've been, researching stuff. But yeah, just so much time had gone to food, and now it's not. So that's a big change and realization, and it was insightful. So anywho, y'all, try to keep these under 15 minutes. I'm going at 18, so let's wrap it up, ladies. Okay, you take good care of yourself. You'll hear from me tomorrow before my gastric sleeve. No, tomorrow is my last day before gastric sleeve. Yes, so you will hear from me then. Stay tuned. Subscribe to my channel if you think I'm awesome. Okay, bye.